Students, as in the previous class we were discussing the respiration, so we'll continue the same thing. So glucose, when combined with the oxygen and give rise to the carbon dioxide and CO2 and the energy which is required for life processes, for our movement, for reproduction, for the talking, walking, whatever work we do, whatever function we do, even for sleeping also energy is required. Even we sit simply without doing anything, in that case also energy requirement will be there. All the energy requirement is fulfilled by aerobic respiration. And as I told you, aerobic respiration takes place inside the cells. Okay, in the cells there is a mitochondria, cell organelle. There this aerobic respiration takes place. So that is why it is called powerhouse of the cell. Now wait a minute, I'll show you how does a mitochondria look like, and what happened the carbon dioxide which is released during the respiration. This is the aerobic respiration which takes place in the mitochondria, which is the organ of the cell. Okay, and this is only called powerhouse of the cell. Mitochondria is only called powerhouse of the cell. Okay, here only what type of energy is released, that is for power. Here energy means power, house means the place it is released. And in this process what type of carbon dioxide is released and water vapor, H2O. This water vapor is used by the plants in the chloroplast. That chloroplast contains the chlorophyll, green color pigment. Then only what happen, this carbon dioxide is used up, and again photosynthesis takes place here. This is only the site of respiration in the plants, and oxygen is released. Then again oxygen and glucose combine in the cells. Mitochondria energy is released. So this is how this cellular respiration or aerobic respiration take place. Now we'll see what happens in the case of anaerobic respiration. Now in the case of anaerobic respirations, what happens, oxygen is not used. Without oxygen, or this kind of respiration takes place in organism which do not need oxygen to get the energy. Okay, and the organism in which these respiration takes place, those organisms are called anaerobes. What do we call the anaerobes? The like yeast, some bacterias. Okay, the like whenever the biogas plant, the garbage or kitchen waste or dungs of the animal is kept and energy is produced. Okay, in that case it is, this biogas plant is covered completely, where oxygen supply is not allowed, or there is no oxygen supply. In that case what happens, some bacteria and some other microorganisms grow, they reproduce, and they need energy for that. So from where they get the energy, they get energy by the anaerobic respiration. During that case, what are the product form? Alcohol, carbon dioxide plus energy. Okay, there will be no water vapor form during this anaerobic respiration. Okay, and anaerobic respiration, the amount of energy is released that is very less than the aerobic respiration. That is one disadvantage. But this much energy is sufficient for the anaerobes, means microorganism which perform the uh, which get energy through the anaerobic respiration. So for those organism, energy requirement is very less, which can be fulfilled by the uh, anaerobic respiration. Okay, so but in the case of human, animal, where energy requirement is more, aerobic respiration only is required. Otherwise energy requirement will not be fulfilled, because their body's design is complex, so energy requirement is also more according to their body, according to their function they perform. Okay, now we will see there, even in animals also, in human also anaerobic respiration takes place. In which case, what are the circumstances when anaerobic respiration takes place in the human, and what are the impact on that? Okay, that let's see. So our muscles also can respire. Usually in the animals, mitochondria only the site of respiration. But when we need more energy, or energy requirement is more in short time, okay, so temporary energy requirement will be fulfilled by the anaerobic respiration. That respiration takes place in the lack of oxygen, when enough amount of oxygen supply is not possible. That time anaerobic respiration takes place, but this respiration takes place in the muscle cells. Which cells? Muscle cells. It will not be take place in the mitochondria, only muscle cells. So this here deficiency means, if energy requirement is not sufficient, proper supply of oxygen is not there, and immediately we need energy, like when we cycle, we walk, running time, exercise time, okay, weightlifting time, athletes and all, they need more energy. So in that time energy requirement will fulfilled by the anaerobic respiration. And here what happened, the permanent energy requirement will not be fulfilled, only temporary, for time being, so that they can continue their work. But what happened in this case, the product is formed, which is a lactic acid, okay, but no carbon dioxide is formed. Lactic acid, and little amount of energy is released, not like a aerobic respiration. So here actually glucose does not break down completely. In the case of aerobic respiration, glucose break down completely with the help of oxygen, okay, but in the case of anaerobic respiration, since oxygen supply is not sufficient, then but energy has to be fulfilled. So for time being, for temporary basis, this energy is released by the muscle cells. The deficiency of oxygen, they combine and release the little amount of energy, okay. And which one more byproduct which is released during this process, that is the lactic acid, okay. So even you will be remember, lactic acid present in the milk also, curd also lactic acid is present. But if more time this kind of respiration takes place, then it will have some drawbacks also, some disadvantages as well. Sometime you may have felt the muscle cramp, okay, that is just because of formation of lactic acid in the muscle cell, okay. So if we have the muscles cramp and all, we can massage or on our hand wherever we had the muscles cramp, or we can do fermentation with the hot water, or can take the hot water bath. With that, we can relieve from this muscles cramp. So we can say in the animals also, human also, this kind of respiration takes place. Which kind of respiration? Anaerobic respiration, which takes place in the deficiency of oxygen, lack of oxygen. So we have done today 3 types of respiration: aerobic, which is which is takes place in the enough supply of oxygen, and product will be CO2 and energy. Product will be what? CO2 and energy. Fine. But whenever enough amount of oxygen is not there, that time what happened? Anaerobic respiration takes place. In the anaerobic respiration, what and all are the product? I am talking about in the animals, not in the bacteria and yeast and all. That is the lactic acid plus energy. Acid plus energy. These are the product formed during the anaerobic respiration in the human and animal. But anaerobic respiration, which takes place completely absence of oxygen, even even less amount of oxygen is also not present, completely absence of oxygen. In that, the product will be alcohol. What are the product? Alcohol and carbon dioxide, okay, plus CO2. And this kind of respiration takes place in the cytoplasm. Fine. So aerobic takes place in the mitochondria, anaerobic in the human and animal, in the deficiency of oxygen, takes place in the muscle cells. But anaerobic respiration in the completely absence of oxygen, absence of oxygen, takes place in the where? Cytoplasm. Okay? Sorry. So this kind of anaerobic respiration, which is completely takes place in the absence of oxygen, even in a little amount of oxygen is also